All right, I got a big gooseneck trailer in here, and the project we're going to be working on is putting these new axles on the trailer. As you can see, they had a hub fly off and it ground that spindle down, and it's just been sitting. So the owner got new axles, and I'm going to put them on. Let's get started. The first and most important step of this whole project, getting it jacked up, putting jack stands under it to be sure that it is safe, because we're going to be crawling around under there, and the last thing that you want to happen is the weight of this trailer to come down on you. If it does, may God be with you. So I'm going to grab the jack it up, just so that way the tires are floating, because that's high enough. Get the jack stands underneath it. I'm going to put 4 of them underneath there, and then we'll start taking the tires off. Okay, so let's get this jacked up so the tires are floating. That's high enough. Be sure that's on there nice. Go to the other side. Okay, let's let it down. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to take this tire set off right now, and then I'll move up to the front, jack it up on the actual axle to lift it up so I can get those tires off. And then I'll look for another spot for jack stands up there too, just because I don't want it to fall on me. Get back to the middle of the front axle. You shouldn't have to pick it up very much to get the tires to clear. That's it. Now they're corroded onto the hub, no less. Take a hammer, spin the tire around, beat the rim, break that free. There you go. Wow. Success! I'm going to take a minute to clean all this dirt up because I hate it. Can't stand working in my own filth. All right, I got my area clean. I have my rear jack stands, I have front jack stands, and I also put the floor jack underneath there just as an absolute safety, because this stuff is not worth dying or getting paralyzed over. I can assure you that. So I'm going to start by taking off the rear axle. So I am going to jack it up, and this is just going to move the axles. When I lift this up, the equalizer will move and push the forward axle down. I'm going to create a little space there just to get it floating. And then I'm going to undo the U-bolts. And then I'm going to undo the bolt off of the equalizer. And so I should just be able to drop the springs down and let the axle roll out, get it out, and repeat. And hopefully these babies are not rusted on there too bad. We'll see. That was on there. Okay. That clearly been replaced at some point in time. That bolt is looking pretty tired, so we'll probably replace that. I will show you why in a minute. But since we got that side out, let's go back to the other side. See if we can get that one out without heating it up. That would make life a lot easier. But I got a feeling that won't be the case. Nope, she's stuck on there tight. Okay, so I'm gonna heat it up. Usually that helps. Get a striker that actually works. Okay, I'll keep that. Okay, I'm gonna let it cool down just a hair so it's not cherry red anymore, because if I do, it will just deform that nut. And then I'll be cutting it off. All right, there it is. Oh my God. Well, that one would have been just as well getting cut off, because it is, that's a sight to see right there. Okay, so now when I let the jack down, that whole axle and springs should just come down with it. Okay, it's probably a little stuck, so put the jack towards the middle. Give it a few hits with a hammer because it's clearly stuck. That ought to do it. Sure looked like it did it anyway. All right. So that slipper spring came out of the pocket over there. So I guess just to make my life easier, I'll get this side out and I'll lift it up, put furniture movers under it, and then just take it out. And then I'll take the U-bolts off out here where I'm not underneath the trailer. I never thought I'd use furniture movers so much in here. My God, do these things come in handy. Let me get that other side lifted. Oh. That spring went back into the pocket. Oops. There we go. All right, let's slide it out. Take a look at what we have. So the passenger side equalizer, you can look how sloppy that has gotten. So I'll have to fix that, or it's just going to rattle up and down and we're going to be back in the same boat. That's pretty bad. Here's the bolt from the passenger side. I'm not putting that back in because that's worn, but wait till you see this other side. Look at that beauty. That thing is like halfway worn away. And since it's a wet bolt, it's hollow on the inside, it's split. How the hell that thing ever held on, I'll never know. There's the axle. I'll get the U-bolts off in a minute, but for the time being, I'm gonna drop the other axle, get them both out, and then we can work on them out here in the open. Okay, same thing for the front. Sorry, I was just inspecting this equalizer and there's a part of it missing too. So I'm gonna lift it up, take the weight, take the weight off it. And see if I get lucky and have these come out with any kind of ease. I got a feeling since that other one didn't go so well that these are going to be stuck on tight. We're going to have to heat them up too, but we'll see. Okay, I'll have to heat up the nuts on the front too. Don't need to snip the electric brake wire. Okay, I got the axles moved over here, flipped upside down. Now I need to take the springs off, so I got to undo U-bolts. Unfortunately, I already tried. I'm going to have to heat every one of them up, so this could take a little bit. Okay, left off yesterday with the axles out, and I was removing U-bolts from the springs. So I got everything off, and I spoke to the customer, and they want all new U-bolts anyway, so they're going to be providing those. So today I'm going to continue on. I'm going to remove the equalizers. This portion right here, where both of the springs connect to articulate the suspension. There's an inner pipe right here that's like an overload for the spring, so it can only go so high. It's completely eaten away. And then on the other side, there is a hole for the spring bolt, for the eye bolt. It's just expanded crazy, so I need to take that off and fix it, inspect the pipe, and then also on this rear hanger, this pipe is also eaten away to where it's going up higher than it should be. So I'm going to take that out and replace that one. I also need to check the other side. I'm sure it's probably worn too. So let's get after it. I'm going to start by trying to get those bolts out. Judging by the condition of the spring bolts, those main wet bolts are probably toast too, so it's a good time we got all apart to inspect that. So I'm going to take it out, take both of them out, inspect the bolts, and then also repair the equalizers. All right, let's see how stuck on these babies are. It was going to need the heat. Okay. There's no point in even wasting time on that. It's going to get the torch to heat them up. No problem. That's the way I like it. All right, really no surprises here. The equalizers are out, and there are the main wet bolts. I mean, those things should be an inch, and they are worn down to That one's 3/4. Yeah, I think it's time for some new ones. And here are the portions of the equalizers that I had concerns about. This is smoothed out. This one's gone, more or less. The inner bushings, that one's got a big split in it, and probably need to be replaced because they're really oblong. And then that hole right there is obviously hollowed out a bit. So let me look into some parts, see if it makes more sense to try to fix it or just replace them. So after going through all of these parts, I spoke to the customer and brought up all of my concerns with these being damaged pretty bad. As I told him, the more I look at it, the worse it gets. So we can't, and he was on board. So these are getting replaced. The equalizers will be replaced, brand new. The springs even have some damage, as you can see. It's been wearing into here. That's not safe. We can be getting new springs. And along with the equalizer, there will be a new center spring hanger, or the hanger for the equalizer, I should say. That'll come new, so I will cut out the old ones to replace that because they're kind of getting worn out too, and you're getting new ones with the kit, so why not put them in? So to continue from here, I'll go back under, remove the hangers, and then I'll also repair the rear hanger. There's a pipe in there to keep the spring, to limit the amount of play the spring has. Those have been worn down, but those are replaceable from what I see. They appear to be replaceable. I could be proven wrong there too, but I do have pipe that I can replace that with, and cutting out the entire hangers, either all the way front or the rear, would be not impossible, but it would take a lot of time. But other than that little pipe stop in there, they appear okay. So leave it alone. So that's where I'll continue. Let's get to work. So I'm going to start at these rear hangers, and here is the pipe that I'm going to take out. So all I'm going to do is grind this smooth, on the front side or the outside of the trailer, and then on the inside it's also welded. So I'm just going to smooth those out flat. It should just be able to pop that piece of pipe out. As you can see, that one it's pretty smooth, and the other one, I think half of it is there. Okay, I have the outsides ground. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the torch, I'm going to cut out the inside of that pipe. So when it falls out, and then I should just be able to punch out this outer ring, and we'll have a nice clean hole. Okay, there's the center, or what's left of it. How flat it was on that one side and broken. Now I'll see if I can pop out the pieces that remain. Here it comes. And there you have it. Now I just need to go on the inside and get that piece out on the other side. There we have it. Those pieces are out. So let me clean up my mess, cut some new pipe, put it back in. There's the pipe that we'll use. And we'll be a heck of a lot better off than we were. All right, I got my two pieces of pipe cut. I'm going to go ahead and put them in and weld them into the bracket. So I just want to be sure they're equal stick out on each side. And again, all that piece of pipe is doing is preventing the spring from going too high. But it couldn't do that because the other ones were, you know, they were an abomination, as you could see. Okay, that part done. So now I'm going to remove these center hanger brackets. But before I do that, I want to note the orientation of everything. So the bracket is flush to the outside of the frame. So when I get the new ones, I obviously want to be sure it's flush to the outside. But also, I want to transfer the center hole. I'm going to measure the bracket, so it's 5, so 2.5. But I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but with this trailer, the outside of this angle is pretty much centered with that hole. But if you didn't have that, that's what I'd do. 2.5, 5-inch bracket, and then you could take a square and transfer that even up further, just so that way you know when you're cleaning up around here, you don't accidentally get rid of your mark, so you still remember where it's at. It's important to note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cutting wheel, because these welds are really small. I'm going to take a cutting wheel, just cut through that weld here, and cut through it here and here. And when I make it through there, I take this ledge, hit it this way, and it'll snap that inside weld off pretty easy. I don't want to use the torch, just so that way I don't gouge into the framework here. It's just a little bit easier, safer with a cutoff wheel. Whoops. Not much, I can already see it cracking. It popped under that, so I know that the front weld is completely gone. So now let's try to hit it again, and hopefully it'll just bend it right on out and break the backside weld. That easy. On to the next side, do the same thing. Just repeat the steps. The center hangers have been removed from both sides. I even took the liberty to clean underneath. I spared you that. The last thing I'm doing, until I'm at a standstill waiting for the suspension parts, is I am plating over the front hanger with a 1/4 inch plate with a 3/4 inch hole. This hole it's square for a carriage bolt. We're just going to be putting regular grade 8s through there. So in order to take out all of that slop, I'm going to plate over the outside. The inside hole is already round. I'm just going to slip that over, and as you can see, there's a little bit. This side wasn't too bad, but I'm going to do both sides anyway. And I'll put that on while holding the bolt flat to the back there, tack it in, and then weld it all up. All right. So now until we get parts, we're on a standstill.